before you can share power with people who are unlikely to believe you're actually sharing power, the trust comes first.
Historically, the way that systems in America have operated, it hasn't been led by those who are receiving services or being helped. So this is a complete shift of agency culture. So that self-assessment of their readiness and willingness is very important before engaging.
First thing starts with the why. Get to know the leaders' why and the organization's why, and making sure that folks are on again a same or similar page on why it's important to engage people with lived experience. And then it's important to also figure out the who folks are engaging.
Lots of missions and visions say we do blank 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 for all, and then when you get into talking with people with lived experience, particularly folks of color, they are typically excluded from those institutions or feel excluded. They feel targeted, right? There are all these things where it is the mission and the vision don't connect to the actual experience on the ground.
When you bring a youth into a room of people who have full-time jobs in this space and you don't pay that youth, that's extremely disrespectful. When you bring a youth to these meetings and they get to speak for 5 minutes at the end, even though there were plenty of relevant places where they could have spoken up or been asked questions, it's disrespectful.
We call it move at the speed of trust. So you can't come in super hot, like ready to, all right, let's do this project. And no one has a relationship already built with you. And you're just ask, and not really taking the time to build up a rapport with the people that you want to work with. That can seem really disingenuous and inauthentic too. And then it doesn't lead to a good product for you or a good experience for the lived experience leader.
Some of the barriers that agencies are faced when trying to engage lived experts is culture and bias that may exist. And that isn't coming from a place of bad intent, but there is some bias in child welfare regarding those who are in the system, those who are affected by the system. And when it comes to collaborating, that bias hinders truly listening, truly partnering, and being willing to change course or shift priorities.
You can put a plate of food in front of somebody, but if they believe that you've poisoned it or they don't trust you as a human being, they're not going to eat it, right? And so before you give them that power, before you plate their food, they need to know, or at least believe, that you're a good cook and that you have no motive to harm them and that you genuinely want them to be there.
When we bring people with lived experience onto the team, we do a 1-month boot camp to train them in design before they join the team, because we don't want to talk above them or around them. We need them to be able to engage in the practice with us. And the other main thing is for the training is that they can challenge us. Maybe we don't need to be doing this particular activity at this time. And so, again, with the power sharing, you have to enable and empower people to be able to challenge you.
I think often people who are engaged are the all-stars, the folks who went to college and got a degree or have a tremendous amount of advocacy experience in their professional tool belt, and that's all great. It's good to engage folks who have that experience, and it's also important to recognize that that's often missing large chunks of people who also need to be engaged. And so if the organization is asking those questions of who is missing, that's also one way to realize, like, okay, we are trying to do this authentically, and we are asking who is missing, and then asking how we can bring them to the table as well.
To do better means that something isn't working completely right. It doesn't mean that we're wrong or bad people, but something isn't working the way that we intended. And some folks are able to express what isn't working in a very loving, nurturing way, and others' emotions surface and rise, and that is okay. Again, there'll be both successes and areas that there are opportunities for growth. So just be willing to listen and receive and do so together and do so in love.